Thank you very much. Good morning, all. My name is Gareth Jones, Managing Director of In-Comm Training and Business Services. In-Comm provides three things to the industrial market. That's apprenticeships, consultancy, and upskilling. And we are a provider predominantly in the engineering and manufacturing sector. Our vision is to bridge the skills and competency gaps by delivering employer-led world-class training across industry and commerce, and we do that through the several different sectors that you can see below. Competency means two things, and that's making sure that an individual has knowledge and experience which make them truly competent in their job role. So it's giving them the knowledge through taught sessions and then ensuring that they have the hand-holding to ensure that they can apply that within a real-life working environment. Our credentials is we're rated at Ofsted Outstanding, grade 1 across all four elements of the inspection. And we work within the region of about 450 companies throughout the West Midlands and Shropshire. We do have some that are wider throughout the UK, but predominantly we're Midlands based. And I'm sure you can all imagine throughout those 450 companies, not only are the individual companies unique, and that's why they're in existence, but also their workforces are extremely unique, and the geographical locations will all vary, and they will all have different needs from us as a provider if we are conducting their recruitment for them on their apprenticeship. So we have to work closely with those, which I'll move on to a little bit more later on. We've got 3 academies to the tune of £7.5 million investment across the 3. So our home in Aldridge, based in the Black Country. We have one soon to be in Telford, moving from Bridge North. And that's an employer-led initiative where we've got 3 industrial partners, and the other employer-led initiative we've got is over in Shrewsbury, and that covers a wide range of engineering and manufacturing qualifications. And again, the demographics from Shropshire to the Black Country, although they're probably only half an hour apart, is very different, and the businesses have to deliver different outputs depending on the individual's company's needs. When we first wrote the business strategy back in 2015 on our employer-led approach, one of the first things that we did was create our core values, and that was created by getting all of our staff together and conducting a pen dot voting exercise. And I think it is extremely safe to say that we run these values throughout our business. So whether it be our staff, our customers, or our learners are all appraised or audited against each one of these values. And I think it's fundamental when looking regarding diversity within an organisation, that the organisation has to have the right values to be able to attract and retain talent, but also attracting from diverse communities and individuals into their workforce. So just to give you some statistics really on some of the environments on underrepresented groups within engineering manufacturing. I'm not going to completely bombard you with statistics, but here's just a few just to set the scene. So 12% of all engineering in the country are women. 21.8% of women work in the engineering sector. So, you know, that other 9–10% basically says that those individual ladies are working with administrative roles rather than actually in engineering, technical or craft skills. Interesting to say, 25.4% of girls aged 16 to 18 would consider a career in engineering versus 51.9% of boys. So, I mean, that speaks for itself that it's definitely not on par in attracting ladies into our fantastic sector, and it's getting under the skin to identify why that is, and there's certain perceptions around that. But also, it's the avenues into coming into our sector. So 7.4% are women apprentices. So if you take that is such a low number. That means that the other percentage coming into engineering manufacturing all come through the university route. When really, as I go back to earlier, for true competence and attracting diversity, true competence is about gaining knowledge and experience. And that comes perfectly from an apprenticeship. And obviously you can go on to do degree apprenticeships now moving forward, but there just seemed to be a clear gap in ladies wanting to come and join apprentices versus the university route, if they are coming or considering engineering at all. So 7.4% of women are apprentices, less than 80% of those are higher apprentices. So most ladies that come into the engineering sector don't end up doing craft-based jobs. Craft-based jobs are working with your hands. They soon come into technical roles, which means they achieve a lot more. So 79.8% of female engineering students get a first or upper second degree, which is fantastic. So they'll be project leads, running organisations from an engineering point of view. So there's a massive disparity there with ladies wanting to come at the apprenticeship stage in terms of engineering manufacturing. So when we look at the Black, Asian, minority and ethnic BAME individuals, they make up 12% of the UK workforce, but only 8% are engineers and technicians. So again, there's others that are working in and around the sector, but not actually engineers or technicians. So 27% of UK domiciled engineering graduates come from a BAME background. So again, it's a higher percentage of university students versus apprenticeships coming into the sector. And that's really fascinating to us, because obviously we work in the apprenticeship sector. But as a sector, why aren't we attracting people to come onto apprenticeship roles? And I think it's through education. Previously, we conducted in January this year, as we do every year, our training barometer, which sort of sets the scene and understanding of what the current landscape is like. And 79% of employers openly admitted that they didn't understand the new apprenticeship standards and what the contents were around those. So I think there's a piece to be done there with the employers, because if the employers don't understand the apprenticeships, then the individuals and what they're going to be getting out of that pathway, they're obviously going to be dismayed and unclear and choose other pathways also, when it's actually a fantastic opportunity to get in the sector, and will benefit you furthermore from having both the technical knowledge as well as the craft knowledge as they move forward. So if we briefly look at the process flow that individuals go through, there is a foundation phase to the apprenticeship. And this was just sort of to set the scene really for individuals and companies when they're coming onto an apprenticeship, that they can actually go all the way and now go on to conduct a degree apprenticeship with the bridging by the HNC and the higher apprenticeship from there. So we really need to start upping our games to attracting talent to come in at the apprenticeship stage, rather than the academic route from the university. Some of the employers that we work with here, and I've said earlier that we work with about 450 different employers, and there's a large employer at the moment that we're representing, and they have a complete strategy this time to get 80% females included on their recruitment strategy, because each one of those organisations that I alluded to earlier do have different needs, different demographics, but have all got their KPIs in place to achieve their underrepresented communities within their workforce. And a diverse workforce, we already know, has been proven to increase productivity. So through the recruitment strategies, we actually get guided by our employers on going to market and gaining the right people from the right underrepresented areas to be putting forward for their job roles. So our job is, yes, we have to be there for the learner, but we also have to ensure that we are delivering for the employers. And I think we've all got a part to play in terms of our marketing and the way we perceived out there in the market. The more that we put out there in terms of females in engineering, underrepresented groups, then the more likely we are to attract and giving it the right look and feel. And when I look at engineering manufacturing companies throughout their marketing, I think it's very rare that many of them get this right, especially from the SME or micro businesses that we deal with. A lot of them they want to get more involvement in the underrepresented groups, but don't give that impression externally when they're going to market to try and attract their talent. So I think we've all got a role to play in that. Very quickly, just some of the activities that we conduct as an organisation is, as I've just said, the marketing content. We also target specific audiences versus specific marketing content, and that could be in the form of educating schools, getting to the learners, talks, open houses, and so on. But there's also a massive piece to be done with educating teachers into the opportunities that are available. But when you look at some of the biggest influences in a young person's life, then parents have a lot to play with that. And I think education in our sector, you know, I think we can all bore ourselves with it now for people that have been in and around. Engineering isn't the same as it was 50 years ago, but there's a lot of perception that it still is. And we've got a massive turnaround to do in educating parents to do that, because giving youngsters an educated guess rather than funneling them down into what we want them to do, I think is really, really big. We need to give them the education and wings to be able to make their own decisions. We also ensure that we target sports clubs and sports facilities, gender specific organisations, whether that be guides, clubs, scouts. And then also we do a lot of work with religious organisations. And again, I'm not saying it's always easy, but we have got some great traction in getting into some religious organisations to give the opportunities to the people in there, you know, have a look what's out, come and engage. But that has proven difficult, but we're breaking down barriers all the time. And then as In-Comm and the marches, we have a consistent open house where we obviously have had to be virtual over the last 18 months, but we run them every Friday, that anybody can drop into any one of our centres every Friday and come and see the work that we do and get a taste and feel for the type of work that we're conducting, but also the opportunities that we can give people to getting their first foot on a new career ladder or diversifying from an existing career that they want to progress into. And then the last thing is marketing and presence. We ask everybody to engage with us through our social media presence to get a look and feel of what we're delivering and the type of activities and who we deliver those for.